I wiped my hands on my apron, leaving behind a trace of flour, and took a deep breath, trying to steady my racing heart. The email from our boss was clear. Starting today, no more exceptions to the dress code. I had always been a rule follower, but this time, I couldn't help but feel a pang of guilt as I looked around the bustling kitchen of our high-end restaurant. Just that morning, I had seen Maria, our sous chef, hurriedly tying her hair back with a colorful bandana, her usual headscarf conspicuously absent. She offered me a small smile before turning back to her sizzling pans, but I could see the worry in her eyes as she glanced at her hair. Our dishwasher, Jamal, was still wearing his worn-out sneakers instead of the required non-slip shoes. He caught my eye and gave me a half-hearted wave, looking down at his feet as if expecting reprimand. And there I was, the hostess, in my comfortable flats instead of the mandated heels. I had walked past the mirror on my way to the kitchen, noticing how much more at ease I felt without the restrictive shoes, but now I couldn't help but feel a pang of guilt for my momentary relief. I had whispered simple prayers and leaned on Jesus for wisdom when my emotions ran ahead of me. I prayed through tears and asked Jesus to steady my heart as I approached each of them, explaining the new policy with a heavy heart. Maria's eyes widened in shock, her hand flying to her bare head. "But Chef always lets me wear this," she protested, gesturing to her bandana. She looked so young and vulnerable without her usual headscarf that I couldn't help but feel a twinge of sadness for her. Jamal looked down at his shoes and sighed, shaking his head. "I can't afford new shoes right now," he admitted softly, his shoulders slumping in defeat. My heart ached for them, but I knew I had to remain firm. I was just about to suggest some possible solutions when the kitchen door swung open, revealing our towering chef, Chef Danielle. She scanned the room, her gaze landing on each of us in turn. When her eyes landed on Maria and Jamal, she frowned, her arms crossed over her chest. "I thought I made it clear that exceptions could be made for religious or financial reasons," she said sternly, her voice echoing through the kitchen. My heart sank as I realized my mistake. In my determination to follow the rules exactly as they were written, I had failed to consider the very real human impact of those rules. I felt a wave of shame wash over me, and I turned away, unable to meet Chef Danielle's gaze. But as I did, I heard her voice, softer now, calling out to me. "I appreciate your dedication, but remember, rules are there to guide us, not to blindly follow without thought or compassion." I looked up, meeting her eyes, and nodded, understanding dawning on me. From then on, I made sure to always consider the spirit of the rules, not just the letter of the law. And I learned that sometimes, a little bit of grace can go a long way. As the day went on, I couldn't help but think about Chef Danielle's words. I saw Maria and Jamal struggling to adapt to the new rules, and my heart went out to them. I knew how it felt to be bound by regulations that didn't take into account individual circumstances. That night, as I clocked out and hung up my apron, I approached Chef Danielle. She was standing at the stove, stirring a pot of simmering sauce, her brow furrowed in concentration. "Chef," I began, my voice hesitant, "I just wanted to say thank you for your words earlier. I know I made a mistake, and I appreciate your understanding." Chef Danielle looked up, her face softening as she saw the earnestness in my eyes. "Of course, darling," she said, patting my hand. "We all make mistakes. The important thing is to learn from them and do better next time." I nodded, feeling a weight lift off my shoulders. From then on, I made sure to always consider the human impact of the rules I enforced. And I learned that sometimes, a little bit of grace can go a long way. Comment your take.